Who are you? How'd you get here?
My name's Eric Tomlinson, and I got here. Well, I started drinking and smoking weed at the age of 15. I went over to my brother's house, and he had some stuff there, and he was like, "You ever smoked before?" I was like, "Nah." He's like, "You ever drank before?" I was like, "Nah." He said, "You ever want to?" I said, "Yeah." Shit, I didn't know what it was about. So
You look up to him?
yeah, yeah. He's my oldest brother, and yeah, we just went over to his house and we all partied and shit that time.
What was that like for you?
It was pretty cool. I had a good time. I was used to not ever doing nothing. I come from a real religious family, and
Are you from around here?
I'm from Jefferson City.
Where is that in relation to?
Like I'm Jefferson City is like right beside Morristown.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I grew up there till I was about 15 years old. And then my mom, she got with this guy, and we didn't like this guy too well because he liked to put his hands on my mom, and we threatened him a lot, and he was scared of us. We was some big kids, so he was like he tried his best to get her away from us so he could beat up on her and whatever. So I moved in with my aunt at the age of 15, and
Where was your dad at?
my dad, he never really was in the picture until I was a teenager. There had been a big old bunch of stuff said about him, and whether or not it was true, we don't really know. But he was accused of molesting my brother and sister. And with that being said, we wasn't allowed around him and stuff for the longest time until we got old enough that they didn't feel like that we was in
danger.
In danger, yeah. So I stayed with my aunt for about 6 months, and then me and my uncle got into it. And after me and my uncle got into it, I moved in with my dad because we couldn't stay together. My uncle pulled a 12 gauge out on me, and he didn't like, he wasn't really gonna shoot me, but he threatened it, and my dad got mad about it, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna come down and get you." My dad got me, and my mom, she was staying over in Gatlinburg at the time, and she couldn't really keep me there, so she signed her parental rights, I guess, over to my dad, and I moved in with him. I stayed there for 6 months, and got out with some friends and stuff out there, and started raising hell in town, and we got caught at this abandoned college over there in Morristown, and I got in some trouble, and my dad was like, "You think I'm gonna pay for this shit?" He said, "You got me wrong." he said, "Man," he said, "You're gonna start paying for this shit." So he started working me at like 16, and well, we was on summer break, so he's like, "Over summer break, you're gonna go out and work his fine off." And I was like, "All right." So I went out and started working and stuff, and we was hanging insulation and mowing yards and stuff, and that was the first time I ever got any work ethic like things in my life. And I mean, that really helped me a lot throughout life.
What do you mean?
Like getting experience working, and like now I'm real good at everything I do because of that. A lot of people my age, they don't like to get out and do nothing, so I'm pretty proud my dad did that to me, because it got me to where I had some work ethics, and I could get out and do stuff. And yeah, about everybody my age don't do nothing. And
well, that's true.
Yeah.
So you paid off this fine, I guess?
Yeah. We only got a trespassing charge, which we could have got a lot worse. We was drop kicking pillars and all kinds of stuff. It was those old wooden pillars that they had at the old colleges. and we was drop kicking them dang things. They was hollow on the inside. You kick them hard enough, they just fall out.
This kid's having fun.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, they could have charged us. They could have charged us with a whole bunch of destruction of property, but I guess they didn't realize that we'd destroyed it as much as what we had us. So they just got us for trespassing, and I paid off that fine. But I was mad at my dad and stuff because he grounded me for 2 months. I'd never been grounded before in my life. I was a big old kid. Mom couldn't really ground me because she couldn't really tell us that we couldn't do something, because if she told us we couldn't do something, we'd just go out and do it anyways. My dad was a big old dude, though. He was like, shit, you're grounded for 2 months. You can't leave. I tried to buck up on him. He grabbed me by my throat, threw me across the room. I said, shit.
I guess I'm grounded for 2 months.
I said, he said, go in my room. He said, sit down. He said, think about what you did. I said, yes, sir. But yeah, after that, my mom, she moved back to Morristown. She got her own apartment, and she asked me if I wanted to move in with her, and I said yeah, I wanted to move in with her. And my dad, he wasn't going to let me move back with her because he's like, I finally got you now, you know what I'm saying? But me and him butted heads so much that he was like, well, he said, shit, he said, if you ain't gonna behave, he said, I'm just gonna let you go back to your mom's. I was like, all right. So I went back to my mom's, and then my mom, she kept going to Kentucky and stuff. That's where her boyfriend had moved to. She kept going to Kentucky and stuff, and we always had the apartment to ourselves and stuff, and we got into drinking and stuff a lot. And
You say we, who is?
me and a bunch of my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, we got out and started drinking, and then we discovered Mr. Smiley, and I don't know if you know what that is, but Mr. Smiley's one of those incense.
Oh yeah, K2.
Yeah, it's just like K2. Yeah, we started smoking that Mr. Smiley, and heck, we was just having a ball out there. My mom would go out of town, and we just party at my mom's apartment, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Back when we was in school, and then I got old enough that I could drop out of high school and stuff, and I ended up dropping out of high school because, well, there was a whole ordeal with my school stuff. Like, I didn't go to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, and it was because they was trying to put me on Ritalin. I was real bad ADHD growing up, and they was trying to put me on Ritalin and stuff, and my mom wouldn't sign the papers saying that they could give me that stuff, and they was giving it to me in elementary school without my mom's consent. Well, my mom found out about it, and she pulled us out of school, and they was part of this church called the Undenominational Church of God, and the church is like a big old organization or whatever, and they pulled some strings and just pulled me out of school for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So when I went back into school, I didn't really know much because my mom, she would try to teach us, and we wouldn't listen to her. You know what I'm saying? She would try to get us to do our schoolwork. We'd climb up a tree and say, "Come up here and make us." You know what I'm saying? And she tried her best, but we was a handful. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and I mean, she couldn't control all of us. You know, she tried, but being a single parent, you can't really do that. But anyways, once I got into high school and stuff, like I was pretty far behind because I didn't really have an education, and so whenever I got to where I could drop out, I dropped. Well, I enrolled in that James Madison High School. You know what that is?
I don't.
It's a homeschooling program that you do online.
Okay, yeah.
And once I enrolled in that, but I was so close to being 18, I was like, I'm just going to enroll in this, and just not do it. So I enrolled in that and just didn't do nothing, and they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't get me for truancy or anything because I was so close to being 18. So I got out of school that way, and started working and stuff. I started working at at the chicken house and doing other jobs. And I worked for a long time up until I was about 21 years old. And then when I was about 21, I discovered meth. And
how'd that happen?
well, it was me, my brother's friend, and we was over at my great aunt's house. It was my stepdad's sister, and we was over at her house, and my brother had left to go someplace, and I remember sitting there. I was pretty upset because my mama had just died, and my daughter, I wasn't allowed to be in her life and stuff because her mom stopped letting me see her because I threatened her boyfriend, and she just stopped letting me see her, and I wasn't on the birth certificate or nothing, so I didn't really have no say, and I threatened her boyfriend, and she just wouldn't let me see her. And I mean, it's my own fault, really, but I was mad about it, and I was feeling pretty low. And I know my brother's friend, he was using meth to try and cope with his situation because he couldn't see his kids and stuff neither. And I was like, well, hell, if it's helping him, maybe it'll help me. So I started doing meth, and first time I ever done it, I shot it, and I just thought that was cool shit in the world. I just sit there on my damn phone all day. I remember for the longest time I had a twitch in my finger. I'd just sit there and just scroll through Facebook. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world there for a long time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's what you would do, is like shoot meth and just
get on Facebook.
What would you do?
I'd sit there and scroll through Marketplace. Never had no money to buy nothing, but I would scroll through Marketplace.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And after that, like, started getting out and doing stuff. And I never really got caught for anything, but we got out and done some crazy stuff. I remember one time, like, my mom, she used to get so mad at me. I would wake her up, I'd be seeing things, and she'd be like, she'd say, "It ain't there, Eric, I promise you." And I'd say, "Yes, it is." Like, I thought I seen this person hanging upside down on a pole one time, or like a telephone pole. Thought this motherfucker was hanging upside down on a pole one time, swinging with a dang big ass spotlight. Motherfucker wasn't, it was a busted street light. And I thought I could have sworn it was somebody. And I was like, "Mom, you don't see that?" And she said, "I don't see it." She said, "Go to bed." And yeah, I mean, for a while it seemed fun, but then it just got to where it was becoming hell. Like, once I got my own apartment and stuff, and I didn't have to follow any rules and stuff, that's when things really went downhill. Like, it stopped being fun after that, because I mean, I wouldn't hardly get out of my house. I would just stay in my house. I had all my curtains thumbtacked shut, and little hose cut in it and stuff so I could peep out them. And
Nice.
yeah, I even had a gun scope where I could just look out my peephole, and I could tell you who was coming out the store across the street. I'd be like, "Hey, get me some out that store." I'd be like, "How can you see us?" I said, "Man, I got a gun scope. I can see plumb through the peephole."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You had it dialed up.
Yeah.
The old tweaker pad.
Yeah. I was staying in White Pine at that time.
Yeah?
Yeah, and that's little Mayberry is what I called it. There's cops everywhere out there.
So how are you supporting, like, paying for rent and all this stuff through this time?
Well, I was in public housing, and like, I wasn't working at all, because I was in public housing. They pay you actually to pay your bills. They paid me, like, I think it was $70 a month to pay my bills. And yeah, when you're unemployed and stuff, I think it's changed now, but when I was living in White Pine about 2 or 3 years ago, they'd pay you to stay there if you didn't have a job, didn't have no record and stuff like that. So I was staying there. They was paying my bills, and I got food stamps, so didn't really never go hungry. I would just stay there at that house all the time. Wouldn't leave, wouldn't do nothing.
How were you supporting like your habit? I guess.
Oh, I'd let my like the plugs come over and stay at my house.
Trap it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I let them trap it out, and they'd give me shit. And then I done certain things like for a while before I got my apartment and stuff. I stayed at my mom's and stuff, but I'd do certain things like I'd go out and I'd run through people's houses and beat people up and stuff to support my habit. Until I got to the point to where, man, I was skinny as a rail. Like whenever I came into recovery and stuff, like I wasn't who I was before. You know what I'm saying? And mostly my reputation of who I was before that, you know.
You have Skeletor running through houses trying to fight.
Yeah. My reputation before I become a Skeletor was I was a pretty mean dude, and that's why I knowed all the plugs and stuff. Like all the plugs and stuff would come over to my house, and they wouldn't really disrespect me because of my reputation.
How'd you get that reputation?
I got that reputation because before I got on drugs and stuff real bad, while I was doing drugs and stuff, I would beat people up and stuff.
Scrapper.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was known for.
Yes, sir.
And
then that's how I said yes, sir.
Well, I mean that's not who I am no more.
I know. I'm just messing.
Yeah, but
so like you're in your own. You had your own place, and then you're getting paid essentially to let people stay there. And drugs and stuff, and then you're also running through people's houses. You're kind of like doing the the heavy lifting, so to speak, I guess, for people, and I guess they would pay you for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, my place was a safe spot for everybody, too. Because people could come over and stuff, and they could sleep, and they'd wake up with all their shit and stuff most of the time. I mean, it just depended on if they were on my good side or my bad side. Like, there was some people I would let come over, and they would steal a bunch of my shit all the time, and then they'd wake up and they wouldn't have shit. But you know, I mean, I done a lot of bad stuff out there, and like I ain't proud of it no more. But you know, before I came into recovery, I took a lot of pride in how messed up I was, and that was pretty bad. But,
so what changed?
Well, I got tired of living that life. Got tired of looking over my shoulder. I had some friends of mine, people I thought was my friends. They tried to jump on me and shit before I come out here, and I remember I took off running to my dad's house, and I remember I ran all the way down Fish Hatchery Road, all the way to my dad's house, which is out on Dover. It's about 2 or 3 miles, and I ran all the way to my dad's house, and I was tired of living that life. Like, I mean, there's nothing in that life. I mean, everybody you think's your friends, they're not your friends. You know what I'm saying? They all trying to rob you blind or trying to jump you or something. You know what I mean? And I got tired of being confused. I got tired of being confused with what was reality and what wasn't. And
it's scary.
Yeah, it is. I went to my dad's, and I remember he stayed out on a 200-acre farm, and I went to his house, and I remember I went out there to a barn, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, man, something's got to change here. You know what I'm saying? I slept out there in that barn, woke up next day, and because I mean, I couldn't have went up to my dad's house and knocked on the door and been like, hey Dad, will you help me out? Messed up, you know what I'm saying? My dad was a big old dude, he looked like Fabio, and my dad would have whooped my ass.
For seeing you in that condition?
Yeah, he would have. And I was like, shit. So I slept in that barn until I sobered up. And once I sobered up, I went over to his house, and I was like, hey, I said, Dad, I said, will you get me some help? He was like, yeah. He said, I'll get you some help, but he said, I ain't gonna help you unless you go to rehab or something. And I was like, nah, I don't need rehab. He was like, you need rehab. And I was like, nah, I don't need rehab. He said, well, all right. He said, go ahead and start walking. He said, because I ain't gonna help you if you don't go to rehab. And I was like, all right, I'll go to rehab. So I went to rehab, and while I was in rehab and stuff, I found out about these sober houses. And I was like, well, shit. Like, I mean, as long as I'd done 28 days in rehab, I could have went home, and my family would have helped me out. But I probably wouldn't have made it far if I'd just done 28 days in rehab. So while I was in rehab,
why do you say that? Like, what do you think the difference of just doing 28 days versus what you're doing now?
Because I think a lot different now. Like, being out here and stuff's taught me a lot more about my disease. Like, rehab helped a little bit, but I didn't really understand what I was dealing with. And I didn't understand that until I started going through these steps and stuff. And like, I knew there was something wrong. Like, when I was in rehab, like, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And coming out here and stuff, it explained a lot to me. And like, I know now that I can't go out, can't smoke weed, can't go out and drink and stuff, because I mean, anything mind altering and stuff's just gonna bring me back to that same mindset. And when I was in rehab, I was like, shit, I can still get out here and smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? But since I've been out here and stuff, I've learned different, because like, you can't really do nothing to alter your mind, because if you do, you're screwed, you know. And
when it takes, like you said, it takes one back to that same trap internally. What how long has it been since you've been in rehab? Like, when was that?
I think I went in there October 21st? 22? It's 23 now, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 22.
Just barely. It's just barely 20.
Yeah.
It's a little over a year.
Yeah.
So what's life look like for you?
It's a lot better. I've never owned a car. Now I got a car.
What?
Yeah. And my little girl, being out here and stuff, it's helped me get a DNA test done on her and stuff. And now I got to sign her birth certificate. So that's a plus.
It's huge.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 8 years old. She'll be 9 in February. Yeah.
You get to see her?
Yeah, when I go back home and stuff, I get to see her. I try to call her, but the woman she's staying with right now, she don't always pick up her phone. But anytime I'm in town, she lets me come by and see her. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah.
What do you working, I guess?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I work for the city of Churchill. I do, what is it called? I work on the back of the trash truck. Sling trash all day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It pays you enough to buy a car, though, I guess.
Yeah. And pay my bills, and buy my food.
Okay, right on.
And pay my child support.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You taking care of your responsibilities?
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
For once in my life.
Time is irrelevant there. It's just, are we doing it? What's your favorite thing about your life today?
Favorite thing about my life today? It's probably getting to see my little girl. When I get to go back to town and stuff, she's excited to see me. And whenever I move back to Morristown, because I'm probably gonna move back here pretty soon if I can get my license. I'm probably gonna move back pretty soon, so I can be in her life, and I hope to be in her life a lot more. But that's probably my favorite thing in life right now, is being able to every holiday and stuff I get to go see her. I didn't get to go see her this Christmas because I was sick. Yeah.
What's your plan to maintain your sobriety?
just I'm trying to like whenever I get back into town and stuff, I'm gonna try and get into being a part of the community back home. Because if people see that I can do this stuff back home, maybe it'll give them some help. Because you know what I mean. Like I was out there, and I know a lot of people out there right now that's in recovery. I've got a bunch of my old friends that's doing real good out there, and I'd like to be a part of that community, and just keep calling my sponsor. Go to meetings, stuff like that.
Nice. So you have a plan?
Yeah.
Right on.
Craig was even talking to me and said maybe I could go down there and like open up one of them meetings and stuff.
Absolutely.
So that was a thought.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, because there's meetings out there, but there's not as many as what there is out here. And maybe if I could go out there and maybe open up some, maybe it would help out a lot.
If you build it,
yeah,
they will come.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's a lot of people out there that needs help. Like that entire town's going to shit.
Yeah, well, it's not alone.
Yeah.
What's the biggest discovery you think you've made in the past year and a half?
Biggest discovery? That I ain't alone in this. Like before I come out here, I thought I was alone in this shit, and I see I'm not. Like I got people who actually care about me, people who want to see me do good and stuff, and yeah, even my family. I thought my family hated having me around and stuff. I felt like I was just a big burden on them and stuff, but I'm not a big burden on them. They didn't want to see me going down the road I was going down, and they're pretty proud of me and stuff. I got to bring my car over and show my aunt and them the other day, and they was stoked about that. It was like, man, we're so proud of you.
Same actually. How's your relationship with your dad today?
It was good, but my dad passed away since I've been out here.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
He had a heart attack.
How long ago was this?
It's been about 4 months ago. He was only 53.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's been rough, but being out here and stuff helped me out a lot because.
Did you get to make amends with him?
Yeah.
What did he ask you to do to make it right?
He just told me to keep doing what I'm doing out here, because I told him, I was like, man, I was like, done a lot of wrong shit to you. I was like, how can I make this stuff right? He said, man, I just wanted to see you do better in life. He said, man, now you're doing good. He said, you're working, you're getting to be a part of your little girl's life. He said, just keep doing what you're doing. He said, and that'll make it right with me.
What's that mean to you?
Just keep making progress, not going back out and doing dope, because that really let him down a lot. Because I'm his youngest kid, and getting to seeing me in that state, just I think really messed with him, and getting to see me gain everything back, like I gained weight and stuff back, and I come back to life, and I just think he was real proud about that. He always was telling everybody in my family, he's like, man, I'm so proud of Eric. He said he's turning his life around. And I was happy he got to see me like that before he passed away.
I am too. Anything else you want to add?
Nothing I can think of.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, brother.